What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. And my, oh my, what a disaster at Parma for Juventus in a must-win game. And we come out in the exact opposite fashion as we should, and we fall 1-0. Top four in jeopardy, complicated. Call it whatever you want, but we got to figure it out and sort it out. We're going to hash it all out together. Everything that took place in the match itself, player performances, as now players taking serious heat where they were taking heat before, but everything is in question, and we're going to tackle it all together right now. I got Omer with me. Omer, brother, how you doing?
What's the opposite of phenomenal? Awful,
shitty,
horrendous, disastrous, shitty. Yeah, went through the dictionary today. Okay, so yeah, I'm not doing good. Juve lost. I had an awful day today. Missed the job opportunity that I wanted. Cut off a piece of my finger.
Oh my goodness! See what you see what you have done. You see what you have done, Juve, in a must-win match, playing an opponent with 8 injuries. And you can't get the job done, and now we're losing job opportunities. We're cutting our fingers off. Come on. I blame Juve.
Sure.
I blame Juve. All right. Yeah, it is shitty. It's a shitty spot to be in right now. The same carousel we've been on seems to be here again, and we're all on it together, everybody, as we go in circles from coach to players to management. And you know, you want to pick things up, you want to get the wheels rolling, and they just always halt. But we're going to take a look at this game from the get-go. We've got news headlines, which we will tackle at the backside of things as well. First things first, obviously, what's up to everybody in the chat? Okay, see you in here. RB Comps, Yorio, Rick Owsey, 77, Mitch, Tuna Steaks, David T's in here rocking it. Great to see all of you. Please take a second, like the video as well as we get into things. Your headlines are as follows for Juve here. Well, apparently Juve is going to be going in on Sudakov, the attacking midfielder. Okay, 22-year-old playing in the Ukrainian Premier League. 40 to 50 million euros is the price tag. We'll talk more on the backside of things on the aftermath. Osimhen, Juve is going in for. All right. I'm going to remind everybody putting out the rumors and the media that just take a look at the bottom of the screen here. Okay. Top 4 is complicated, but apparently Osimhen, Tonali. Yeah. Okay. Get top 4, damn it. Conte, continuous links. More news on it today. Vlahovic is out for 7 to 10 days. Okay. Muscular overload. Yeah. I've had about an overload of watching our strikers after yesterday. So I'm suffering from overload myself. Cope Miners and Imbangula trained separate from the groups today. All right, so let's get into the actual match itself, Parma and Juve. We spoke about the starting lineup yesterday, and there wasn't really a whole bunch of issues other than, for me, maybe going with Yildiz to start. He had a knock, a contusion, so once you're cleared, I mean, it's not like we're trying to get a guy back from muscular injury. I'm going to be quite honest. I don't think it would have helped with how things went, but that's probably the only change. We had Di Gregorio on goal, Kalulu, Vega, Kelly. That is all straightforward as it gets. McKennie on the outside right, Locatelli, Thuram, Cambiaso, Kolomuani, and Vlahovic with Nico Gonzalez as your 3 attackers. And we'll talk about that combination, I'm sure, as we go through the match. But we'll get into the highlights here. 1 minute in, Locatelli with a rip after a throw-in. Finds it to his way. Actually came close at the back post there. 45th minute header from Pellegrino, beating Lloyd Kelly to the ball, and that's 1-0. That's literally first half, man. That's literally first half. There was junk for opportunities from Juve. Parma didn't really get anything. Like it was terrible. Juve didn't even have the proper attitude or energy until the 33rd minute. And you're just not going to get anything out of that. There's literally nothing to talk about in that first half. Omer?
Yeah, absolutely nothing except the goal.
Yeah.
Again, a header, sort of back post.
Yep.
I mean, how many times can we complain about it? I
That's
know I
the
was pretty
10th
bored.
one this season, by the way. 10th header on
Mhm.
a cross that we've allowed.
Yeah, to be honest, I was pretty bored
Yeah.
from the match. Like there isn't any, there isn't a lot like to talk about in general, let alone the first half, except for the goal we conceded. So yeah, not a lot to add. We'll get into performances later, but still, man, that's
58%
awful.
possession for Juve in the first half. 0 big chances created. 5 total attempts, period. 5 total attempts, period. And 4 total attempts for Parma. They actually had big chance. 1-0 out in the first half. Dreadful. Dreadful. Wasted
Awful,
half of football.
and right on the stroke of halftime. That's the worst time to concede.
Yeah. So you got to get things right. You got to turn it around. We do try change immediately, and apparently it's because of this injury. So Vlahovic actually gets pulled, and Chico Conceição comes on. And then you also have in the 57th minute, Keenan Yildiz coming on for Weston McKennie. So Nico Gonzalez gets moved to the outside role. And then you have Yildiz and Chico working in the advanced positions. And this is something that I've talked about a lot this season, is these guys trying to do a hell of a lot. Yildiz, Chico, because there's just no team-oriented play really whatsoever. Kalulu was trying to do a lot. He was trying to do a lot, and that's kind of where it ended, was trying. 59th minute, they actually carve us up. Parma carves us up, finds themselves in a good opportunity to maybe strike, but they try an outside of the foot shot there, and it's pretty weak and ultimately easily handled by Di Gregorio. When you get to the 73rd minute, Chico, a good effort, moving to his left and firing it, misses. Shot goes high. 90th minute, it's Conceição again, dribbling in the area against just a wall of defenders, but he gets through, puts a low hard shot in that goes wide on the far side. Both of those opportunities killed him. You could see his reactions as he wanted to do better. He was the only guy that came close in reality. And he had another one right after that at the 91st minute that ended up being a very, very weak shot there. He was trying crosses in before. Yildiz was trying to do something. These guys were facing a wall, and they just didn't know what they were going to do. Were they going to flood the box and try to hit crosses? It didn't look like they wanted to do that. A majority of this game felt like they were trying to be way too cute. I'll be honest. I was pissed earlier moments in this game for how many guys get opportunities to shoot and they don't take them. It's like this team is allergic to shooting the ball from just outside the box. Until Chico
Yeah.
stepped on and started taking those shots, I think Yildiz might have had one too. Nobody had that. Nobody had that thought process to just, hey, I got a line of sight, I'm going to have a shot. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane because you obviously can't get into the area, and when you do, it's someone with his back to goal, surrounded by four different players, and if he might get a shot in, it's either get blocked or just the goalkeeper takes it. So it's not the way to go, and you got to figure it out during the match. Okay, we can't shoot from inside the area. I don't know. I feel like this is the fastest run through we had on a match because there's absolutely nothing to say. Just
There's
to get it
nothing
out
to
of the
say.
way, the handball, the alleged handball. Penalty,
So
no penalty.
that's cross in, and Yildiz goes to slap it. I mean, I don't even know. It looked like he was going to hit it way too hard to get to any player, and the trajectory nonetheless strikes the player's hand. How do you feel about that one?
I don't know. He kind of decided really fast that it's not a penalty. It didn't even look like he was talking to VAR or anything. So they didn't give us a whole lot of replays from a lot of different angles. There was one angle that it seemed like it isn't a handball, but the others seemed like it would hit his body anyway. He was trying to get away from. I don't know. It's not a clear cut penalty. I don't really feel like we got robbed there.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling too hard done by, because if the shoe was on the other foot, I would have been pretty choked if we got called. His arm is
Yeah.
pretty much in a natural position. The ball definitely strikes it. He cannot move. He cannot react. He doesn't have it way out of his silhouette of his body. I didn't think that
It's not.
I didn't
It's
think
not.
there's
And I don't
any
want to.
handballs in that game. There was another one that was in question, and I didn't think either was a handball. So you got to take this one on the chin. We were trash. Period.
Mhm.
Period. If we would have gotten a PK, if somebody believes that's a handball, that's just, yeah, it would have been a savior from a game where we deserved next to nothing. And I don't feel like we played like we should have lost, because Parma literally had nothing either, but we definitely didn't do enough to win the game. We talked about this in the pregame and said they have 8 players out. They're shaping up in this setup that we're going to see a low block 100%, and they're just going to look to transition
Two,
or
two
build up.
more, by the way, before the
And they
goal.
had
Two
2
more
more
players
in the
injured
game. 2
in the
more
first
injuries
half.
in the game that Christian Kivu dealt with. The game plan was there. You knew you were going to face that. And man, oh man, there was no idea or strategy as to how to hurt them. As far as the crosses we did fire in, every time, way too close to the keeper, and Suzuki was all over it, all over them. Parma comes up one friggin' cross in the first half practically. It's money. It's on the spot. It's too far for Di Gregorio to come out and grab at the pace that it's sent in there. And it's at a moment where he can give his player an opportunity to hit it. It's crazy. The quality of crossing is so poor from us. And we did it over and over and over. Too close to Suzuki at the back post, curling in, and he just comes out and grabs it. It's
That's was
very
my main
frustrating.
takeaway. That was my main takeaway. I was so frustrated with the crossing in this game from everyone. It's not a specific player. Everyone who crosses the ball is just no target. Mostly it's to the far post from free kicks, from open play, whatever. No one is ready for that. No one is on that. So it usually goes to the goalkeeper or out. I mean, not one of those crosses was even close to a dangerous chance. The only
No,
one was
nothing.
very early on with Dushan kind of backhilling it. Wasn't really a chance for me.
I'll be quite
Just awful.
honest. Their game plan should have been press them deep. Like, you got to try to get them to protect that back line with guys that are going to try to beat them. And then once they pull back, then you find your trailers. And from there, you got it. That's where you start to cross. That's where you start to send in. But it wouldn't have mattered. Vlahovic was getting bossed by like a fucking teenager, man. And looked like he was just like wanted no part of it. Kolo Muani, I don't even know what planet he was on. It was like he wasn't even might as well not even have been there. Yildiz and
No, we
Chico
seem
were
like
the only ones. Yildiz and Chico were the only ones that were literally trying, looked like they were trying, and it was going to be this way. It was going to be give it to them and hope they make something happen. That's really it. If we did nothing, it was brutal. I'm going to say this because now we get into the aftermath. 73% possession in the second half without a single big chance created. That means you finish the entire match without one big chance created against a Parma, okay, with 8 injuries going into this game and another 2 in the game. I don't care who you play, but that's a failure from all involved. And yes, coaching is a part of that. coaching and players, everyone involved, that is beyond, so far beyond acceptable. It's crazy. It's
But
crazy.
my question is, what are Juventus right now? Because for me, they're not a top four team. They're a mid-table team. Because when mid-table teams play other teams in the league, it can go either way. Like you can beat Inter at home, and then you can lose to like Monza or Lecce, and that's how I feel with Juve going into matches. Doesn't matter who we play against. It can go either way, and no superiority of players, of coaching, of nothing. It's just a mid-table team.
It's there's just so much, and this is why we get into the aftermath as everybody's like pointing the finger. Everybody wants that one quick answer, that one quick solution. It's not the case. It isn't the case with this Juve. But I'm going to kind of share my thoughts, my feelings into how I'm looking at this whole thing and this whole situation, okay? First up, this match isn't even worth getting into player ratings. I don't think there's anybody. If anybody got a sniff of a 7, it's probably Kalulu. But this was literally him after, and this was literally me while watching the game. That face, that is me watching this game yesterday, okay? Just numb, just dead pretty much inside from the performances. Kalulu did come out with the highest rating, and I still think it was too high at a 7.5 or whatnot, but he gets man of the match, but nobody should have gotten it. It was an absolute disaster. In the aftermath now, you have everybody saying, coach is never the issue. Max, Malta, now Tudor, it's the same. This team, these players, they're not good enough, etc. The truth is, it's everything. To say that Max didn't need to be let go is wrong, because there were reasons there that he needed to go. To say that Malta didn't need to go is absolute insanity, because it was just garbage, okay? Tudor, I'm going to say this. Everything else that we've seen so far has been better than what we were getting with Malta. Tudor has literally simplified everything and got them at least organized. The structure is good. The only thing he hasn't simplified is the final third. And my whole thought process on the final third when I watch this team is it's too much freedom. Too much freedom. Because we don't have superstars. There isn't a superstar on this Juve side. There isn't. There's the makings of some, but there isn't a superstar. The only guy close to a superstar is Bremer. And I think I would be okay calling Bremer a superstar defender. But there's no other superstars. So to give this much freedom up top, it doesn't work for me. They need a reference point. They need some structure. They need ideas. They need stuff off the training ground because they can't find each other to save their lives on the pitch. The other part is when we go to the roster isn't as bad as people are making it, but it needs work. And of course it's going to need work. When we literally had to drop the roster and go to pretty much a square one moment financially. It ain't going to happen like this. So there's a lot of things at play. There is no one answer. But for me, there is no superstar on this team. And, you know, guys are in and out of confidence. They have nothing to stick to right now. The mentality. Tudor came out and called out the mentality. I'll bring out his words in a moment here. But he's not wrong. But you have to combat that and help these guys out also by something that's built in. Structure and organization. That's why they've done well. But in the final third, there is no idea. And they are still freewheeling, as I like to call it. And it's that next step. Because they're not going to sort it out on their own because there are no superstars. There are no guys that are just going to frickin' pick this thing up and turn it around. It just ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And again, to say that the roster isn't Juve caliber, of course it's not, because of the reason I just told you. We're 2 mercados away from picking up only Timothy Weah at 12 million. Was that because the roster was completed? No, it wasn't completed. It's because of where we were financially. The good news is at least that's finally over. Okay? But these are my thoughts. Omer?
Well, I don't have a lot to add. I said recently on one of the podcasts that I asked the question: Is Juve currently a bad, just working place, which doesn't allow you to actually succeed because of a lot of bullshit that goes on behind the scenes? You know, you get more news about that from like Man United, and then you say, "Oh yeah, I get why it doesn't work. They're just plain stupid, canceling season ticket holders, sending players like Schweinsteiger to train with the youth before he can move on." It's this type of stuff, and I don't know. It's Allegri, then Sarri, then Pirlo, then Allegri, then Motta, and now Tudor, and most of them got tons of good players that they can work with, and it looks the same. No
Yeah.
matter who the coach is, it just rinse and repeat all the time. So I feel like Juve is just right now. It's a place that doesn't allow anyone to actually do good work. Like,
We're
no matter who you bring in Klopp if you want.
we're spinning our tires, everybody. Big shout out to Rick Owsey 77 gifting 5 AJC memberships. If you've received a membership, you want to jump in our members chat, reach out to us. All right, and we'll plug you in. Keeping in this whole spinning our tires thing, another aspect of it is when you watch this team play, and we need games like this. Games like this have been a problem for years now, where teams clamp down. This hasn't just crept up. And the thing is you don't have that, we'll call it a quarterback. Some want to call it a general, whatever you want to call it, but that guy that pulls the strings. And beyond that, the guys that we have tried, the guys that we have brought in to try and be that role, they've failed, and they're not that guy. So that's a big issue too, because we've looked, we've spent, it hasn't worked out. Louise can't be that guy. Cope Miners has not worked out in trying to be that guy. Yildiz is still not there for me. He's the closest we have. It's not working. Furthermore, the lack of chemistry up top is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And the fact that it's coach after coach after coach, you got to figure it out. I said I'd bring up Tudor's words. I will, as we dive a little bit further into this, because Tudor had words around the team's mentality, right? So he said a bit of everything was missing tonight. Even in the second half when we pushed, we weren't threatening. In the first half, we won more second balls, but we conceded a goal, which you just can't do. All in all, we were disappointed. There are 5 games left, and we must regroup. Postponement effects, it's possible, but it's not an excuse. You have to adapt and move on. Parma are in good form. They play simple football. We weren't decisive enough in the final third. We lack wickedness and willingness to get inside the box or even to make something happen on a corner kick. You have to believe in it, and we have the opposite attitude. We must work on this. We need to grow with malice because malice wins games. So here's the thing. In a nutshell, he's talking essentially when he says we need to improve mentally. We are a team that feels the mental weight of playing for Juventus. You could see it out there. In the locker room too, we need more wickedness and fight. It's too much on this mentality thing. Because, like I said, it can't all be one way. It can't all be one way. You can't go out there and say, rah, 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 that's it, we get the job done. No, that doesn't do it. It has to be balanced out. And it isn't balanced out. It's like you could see that from the change in Motta to Tudor. Motta probably had better ideas and was coming up with probably more threatening chances, periodically, but the rest, the structure, the organization, and even the motivation was probably there far less than Tudor. It's about putting it all together. Rah, 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 rah is half the battle, and it has to be there. But the rest has to be there too. You can't walk into a game knowing they're going to clamp down and have just no idea how to hurt them.
Yeah, by the, I don't know, at the beginning of the first half even, I would go out there and said, stop with the crossing. I don't want to see one more cross. You can't do it. Not if it's a free kick, a set piece. And that's what I expect from Tudor, to kind of, they would keep trying to cross it and enough bodies in the area. Not one got to our players. So those are the little tweaks we always talk about. Okay, you tried it. That was your system against the slow block. It didn't work. And we conceded in the first half. Now we need to win. Now, needing to win doesn't mean, which, by the way, happened a lot this season, is that throwing all your attacking players onto the field with no structure and hoping one of them will create a goal. And that's something that comes a bit with experience. I mean, I'm missing a Danilo in this team. Someone who will tell them, okay, calm down. Don't all run forward. Don't all run into the box. Keep your shape. Like someone to manage them on the field and keep those young guys, centered. Because it seems like the minute we concede, everything goes out the window. Trainings, methods, tactics, whatever. Just everyone try to score now.
I don't know if you felt it, but yesterday I felt like we are slowly kind of losing Thuram's impact further up the pitch since Tudor has come in. Like it's one of the sacrifices that has come in this setup, the 3-4-2-1, is that, yeah, it's more stay at home with them. He got up, advanced a couple times there, and then again, I mean, I may have jinxed him, call it whatever you want, but Nico Gonzalez and his decision-making was absolutely shocking because it was just time and time and time and time again, yet he just remained. When the subs were made, Weah should have come on for Nico if you were going to, and just put him on the outside if you're going to take McKennie out, because it was just brutal. It's just brutal. Every single time that guy needs to, pull that string, it falls apart. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. I just have major issues right now. It's not coming. It's not coming together. There's still a lot of gaps, and that's okay because Tudor's just taken over and whatnot. But if we're getting into discussions about what happens outside of this season, I still believe this team being this young needs a coach. It can't just be rah, rah, rah. They still need the rah, 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 but this team is still so young that they need the coaching. They're passing up on high percentage plays for God knows what. It looks like a bunch of guys that are young, dumb, and full of cum. Seriously. That's the only way I could put it. You've got Nico Gonzalez, 3 guys all over his back, and he turns and fires blindly when Thuram is facing the goal. He's 4 feet away from you. You just lay it off to him, and he could step into one and have a shot. That's what we should have been doing. We should have been looking to find Kolo Vlahovic and laying it off, and then the next guy go in, and the next guy run into the space when they show. You have to get a wall at the back. You have to get those guys moving. And through Allegri, through Motta, through Tudor, they haven't figured that much out. It's movement. You have to move them, and it has to be quick. But when we pass up better percentage plays, that's where my patience level is absolutely shot, because I can't stand that garbage. It's terrible. And that's what we're seeing.
What I'm seeing most, it really irritates me when we get to the final third, is everyone do what they need to do only when there are no other options. They'll keep hold of the ball, they'll drag it down the sideline till there's nothing left to do except for either try to cross or try to shoot. It's not forward thinking. Thinking 2 moves ahead. It's just, I'm going to run down till I get a chance to cross, and if I don't, I'll pass it back and rinse and repeat other side. Now, I'm not putting all this blame on Tudor again. He got here
No,
close to the end of the season. Yeah, he can do better. He also can do worse. Uh, but maybe it's a big ask, considering everything the team has been through this season. Maybe it's a big ask to, turn this Juve around back to the big old Juve that we know and love. I mean, he's here to ride it out. That's been the case since he landed here.
there's gaps everywhere, man. I think, no disrespect, but there's a gap in the coaching. I think for the players, there's a big gap. There are no winners. There are no proven
Mm-hmm.
winners. There's little experience, which has to be balanced out. So when we talk
Mm-hmm.
about, the roster, of course it's not Juve caliber. We have no winners there. We have no winners on this team. We have no proven
Mm-hmm.
experienced guys. Of course it's not a Juve caliber roster. There's no winners here. There is
Yeah.
none. And this is something I brought up for everybody that's been tuning in. You guys know how many times I've said I'm concerned with our target list because it doesn't include any experienced guys. All our rumors are these guys that are all young, and that's great, that's fine. But where's the balance? Where's the mix? There's some decent free agents that have been popped up. We didn't even care to look at a free agent with some experience in January to get us out as a safety net. So, yeah, my concern is that are we even going to look in the summer when you're trying to balance out the roster? Do they even care about balancing out the roster? Because it has to be balanced out. You can't keep going this way. Like a 24-year-old average age roster ain't going to win you shit. Might get you a
No, I
Coppa
think
Italia.
might, but it's been proven with other teams who try this super young project that planning ahead. It doesn't work. Experience goes a long way in football, especially in matches like this where your back's against the wall and you gotta get a goal. Whatever, experience matters. And Juve seem to freak out the minute they concede, no matter what minute it is.
Yesterday, the only times we had proper urgency attitude was from the 33rd minute to the end of the first half. And funny enough, we conceded. But in the
Mm-hmm.
second half, it wasn't until late in the second half and it seemed scared. It wasn't a controlled like aggression. It was a frantic rush is what it felt like. Fear. You need experience. You need quality and you need experience. We have to balance out the roster. Period. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be done. There's work to be done. I see a lot of discussions on the management, and you guys know where I stand there because I called it before when Motta was in jeopardy of losing the job. I said it doesn't end there. I need a management team up at the top. So when we talk about mentality and you talk about players, of course mentality is going to lack because we've been signing not just characters. We've been signing because of terms. And that's been part of the issue too. You haven't been able to get as choosy as you probably would like to because of the circumstances digging yourself out of 342 million. And that's the reality. That's one of the sacrifices that hits. But the management has to step it up because the mentality can't be brought on by one man. Otherwise, all you're going to do is keep flipping coaches left and right and center and say that that's it. It isn't it.
Especially if he's not on the pitch. I
Exactly.
mean, he's got to be on the pitch. He got to have experience on the pitch.
The management team needs a major overhaul by people that otherwise, what's the vision? Whose vision are we following? It has to start at the top. It has to start at the top. That's where you start grooming your culture, and then it trickles down and needs to be followed by everyone. Tudor can't walk in here at the end of a season and be like, boom, I'm going to instill the DNA. I mean, it's beyond that point now. That's why you need wholesale changes at Juventus right from the top. Right from the top.
And I believe we'll see some when
Oh yeah,
after the Club World Cup. We'll
it's
definitely see
happening.
some.
I'd be
Mhm.
very shocked if we didn't see a management overhaul with that team in the summer. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy out here right now. But people fighting the fight for Mota still makes me laugh because it's like the guy needed to go desperate. Like if you can't see that, this isn't a saving grace for him that we fall to Parma with Tudor here. It's just it's another highlight that what we said even while Mota is there, he wasn't the only problem. But he was a problem and a big one. So the other problems kind of remain. So what do you do? Because roster wise, I'm hearing everybody come out and they're like, I'd keep these three guys. That's it. Clean house, away with them all. Do you think it's at that point, Omer, where we've only got three guys that can form a spine for this team? Do you think that none of these guys are capable of being worked with further beyond this season?
We're talking about players, right?
Yeah.
Not men. Um, I know it's a tricky one. Growing up watching Juve, it's not like I was sitting at home waiting for them to buy the top talents in the world. They brought in players from Serie A, from other leagues, and they kind of turned them into this world because they played for Juve and they did well for Juve. They became world class superstars. So I'm not expecting Juve to go out and buy all ready-made players. It was never a formula, and when we did try, it didn't work out that well. But in order for that to actually succeed, you need to have players who are at Juve for a long time and are doing well. Like even in our banter era, watch the matches. Chiellini was there, and he wasn't awful. Even when we were losing, he wasn't the one to blame. He gave it all, and it was great. It's just everyone around him weren't good enough. But when you had a few players like that, it started working out. And suddenly, players who were bought a season before. Let me remind you, I was looking for it earlier, but the first Marotta season, we finished seventh. He bought in. It was an awful season. Top scorer was Quagliarella with 9 goals. He brought in Krasic and Pepe and Bonucci and Matri and during the season Luca Toni and Barzali, but the roster we had going into the season looked good on paper, and it was awful. Some of these players were immediately sold after that season. The rest started picking it up, like your Pepes and Quagliarellas. So I'm not like going to say everyone we bought is shit and they're never going to be good. You should sell all of the team. Not even three players. I believe there are more than three good players in this team, but it doesn't really matter. Bring in the Man City team, and then let's see how they do. Yeah, great players, system players. If the system is shit, system players won't work.
I
And now the system doesn't allow any player to actually shine. Those who do shine now do it regardless of the system, usually through personal brilliance.
I feel like the same that I've said with the roster. We have good players in here. We really do. It's not that far gone. I just feel the roster is incomplete. So while some say it's shit, I say, well, it's incomplete. It's not complete shit. It's just incomplete is the best way to put it for all the gaps that we talked about earlier. But you've got this guy in Cambiaso that went from world class and just insane to looking like one of the worst players I've seen in a while. Just like that. So you got to figure it out. Is like, who is this guy? He needs to figure it out. Did this deal that fell apart actually rattle this guy into turning into an absolute useless player that may not start on the weekend, by the way? Because that's the latest rumors that he may not even start. And if he put that out, I wouldn't even friggin' do it. I wouldn't even do it. That was terrible. It was junk. So I don't even know anymore. And I've been saying this also for a week. Is like, how do you gauge some of these guys this year when it's like, man, this guy was balling out at the start of the year. We were all hyped up. And then all of a sudden, it's just like unrecognizable player. Who is this guy? Get him away from Juve. That is wild in the course of one season to go from that level to what we are seeing since the rumors, since the agreement, and since the injury. This guy has been nowhere near Cambiaso. And I'd be shocked if the way this season ends, if Man City hasn't already crossed his name off the list.
Well, it was reported today that they're no longer interested. But again, newspapers and stuff. But it's not surprising. Are you surprised?
It wouldn't be surprising. His form has been terrible ever since.
Yeah, it's pretty rare seeing a player start off the way he did and then take such a huge dip in form.
And that's why
like, it's not even reminiscent of anything he did in there.
I know.
Earlier in the season.
This versatile player that could plug and play anywhere, that can create, that was a big portion of a lot of creation for us in the attack, is completely faded and gone. This is why it is crazy to try to gauge these guys on this season. This season has been an absolute mess, everybody. An absolute mess.
Oh, it couldn't end sooner.
When you have Mota coming in here and it goes so wrong, it was just... It was the beginning of the disaster. So it's very, very difficult. But Cambiaso is one to highlight, to look at, because that drastic shift, what does that do for you if you're going to make a call on him? What does it do for all these guys that are on the cusp? How do you maneuver in the summer? It's very, very difficult spot to be in for Juve right now. Very, very difficult spot to be in. This is why, some say when those deals come along, you have to jump on them and you have to take them for that reason. But I mean, you can't even say that because I don't know, it could have gone the other way. If you didn't even have that backup, his form hasn't been completely to that degree in all the games he's played since then, but he definitely hasn't been to the highest level or degree that he was earlier in the season. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't right now, feels like at Juve. It feels like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's what
Sadly.
I said. The system, the everything around the players is just mediocre at best. I mean, I can't expect them to succeed. Look at the flip side of it. Look at Atalanta. Everything behind the scenes is working great, so they keep bringing in these anonymous players that no one's even heard of, and they all, bam, fit in, understand what they're doing, and jack up their prices. How come no matter who Atalanta buys, the guy succeeds? The guy's become a good player in Serie A. Yeah. It's not because their scouting is that much better than everyone else and just picking out those talents that no one notices. It's because they're getting into a good environment that allows them to flourish and give them support. And maybe if it takes 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, but eventually it happens. And that's what you get. That's the other side of a functioning, well-oiled system, which we don't have.
The work doesn't end here for us, everybody. It's just a lot of work to do, but nobody's wrong. That's the thing, is everything that everybody is saying is right to some degree, because there's layers to this and there's a lot of work to be done. But when it comes to the roster, I think it's extremely difficult for Juve to sort. But it starts with top four. Top four is complicated now. Okay? We're going to get into this as we... Yeah, that's me watching yesterday. So here's your Serie A table right now as it stands. So Juve at 59 points on 33 matches. 1 point behind Bologna now. I mean, it's not all lost, but you've got a Bologna-Lazio back-to-back. That's going to be deadly.
Both.
And both, to be honest, you've got Monza this weekend that is... You can't slip up. You cannot slip up this weekend. Absolutely not.
That's the frustrating thing. We mainly find ourselves almost every season, living it to the point where we have to win to make this or that, and now we have to win. Like two
Y-
more wins in this during the season, and we're looking at a different table. And now we have to win every game, so the pressure ramps up on a low mentality team as it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they can pull it off. To be completely honest, I
Well,
kind of.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. Like,
Mhm.
top four, complicated. It is complicated. Fiorentina's at 56 points, for Christ's sake. I mean, Roma has been in great form in 2025. Like, Lazio could easily do it. Like, I mean, none of those teams have dropped off to a degree that we expected, and we never really. I mean, that needed to be 3 points. We talked about it. Lecce, Parma, Monza needed to be a maximum 9 points out of those 3 games. You drop to Parma, not even 1 point. Yeah, that sucks. That now things are very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. We will take a look here at some of these fixtures too. So this is Roma's remaining schedule. So you can see, obviously, finished with a 1-0 victory over Verona. They do have Inter at the weekend. Fiorentina, Atalanta, Milan, Torino. That's a very difficult end for Roma. So
Yeah.
take that for what it is. That's probably the most difficult schedule. When you look at Bologna, who's been red hot, so Udinese, it's us, it's Milan, it's Fiorentina, it's Genoa. You know what? That's a pretty difficult one too.
Yeah. Not only.
That's not an easy one either. Lazio, they will have Parma, they will have Empoli, they will have us, they will have Inter, and they will have Lecce. To be honest, not bad. 2 difficult back-to-backs there. I hope it's difficult. We better make it difficult because that's must-win for us. So, yeah, Lazio, not bad around that. For us, Monza, Bologna, Lazio, Udinese, Venezia. So the Bologna-Lazio to kick off May is absolutely huge now. Absolutely huge. Where you would have to think
That's basically it.
you gotta flip those games. They have to be 6 points.
That's
You gotta
basically
win
it.
out.
It's those games. You gotta win both those games, and then we're singing a different tune about top four. If you
Yeah.
lose even one of them, that's it. We're like, what is it now? 4 or 5 teams competing for 4 spots, and
Yeah.
we're looking the worst out of the bunch.
Fiorentina's got Empoli, Roma, Venezia, Bologna, Udinese. So there's some. Roma's got it the worst by far. But yeah, when you're looking at the table here, this is. Yeah, that is
But
tight.
Roma are getting points. They are winning those matches,
Oh, yeah.
even though they have a tough run of games. I don't know. I don't feel like
Bologna's
they're
in great
favorites.
form. Atalanta, they have their slips here and there, but like they're still going to be up there in that mix. Inter and Napoli are well clear. It's a battle for them for the title. Lazio, Roma, Fiorentina. I mean, it's not crazy to think that Juve might finish outside of Europe in general. Like, if they don't wake up. That Parma one is terrible. Now,
Yeah, and the reason why we sort of, not we, but the football world sort of gives us credit and thinks we can do this is only because our name is Juventus, because I've got nothing else to go by to feel confident.
yeah,
Like, yeah, we can do it. Obviously, we can. We always can, but it just doesn't feel like it right now.
man, if I'm
I
Tudor
hope
at
I'm proven
training
wrong.
from here to the weekend, those guys are going to cross until their legs fall off. Okay?
Yeah,
They're going to be
absolutely.
crossing until their legs fall off so that we can figure out like some actual quality crossing. And you know what? In the final third, help these guys. Figure out the reference point, figure out what you do. This should have been happening all year because teams that don't clamp down like that with that severe low block, we haven't had that kind of issue with. So Tudor, in theory, should be fine. But now he's run into that same wall that kind of Mota did. You got to figure it out. So line up Bring up next gen, bring up whoever, line them up in that low block, that clamp, and work. Figure it out. It needs to be second nature to when these guys get the ball, they know who's going where, what their duty is, what their assignment is, and they know when they're trying to figure it out on the field, that's where the panic sets in. And that's because that's where the lack of quality shines through. Because if you're quality player or you're experienced, you've been through that, you're a winner, you don't panic, you don't freak out. If you're young, inexperienced, you will. So that's what I would do, man. And I would just work them till they're done, you know. And it's got to be done. It's got to be done. Just work.
The problem is
work. You know what?
We let those teams manage us. The game went exactly the way Parma wanted.
Mitch, it absolutely, he's been here for 3 matches, 3 weeks. You're talking about a month now, all right? And it should have been happening already. He's been doing double sessions. Don't focus so much on fitness and focus more on the actual game. That's where the shortcomings are. Focus on shortcomings. He came into this team. Do your homework. He just started talking about set pieces that we've been shit on all year, like a week ago. No. Let's go. Pick it up. Now, storm the barn. Let's go. This could be interesting, okay? We are going to get to the news and stuff. Let's get in some storm.
By the way, Adam, I do appreciate your pun today, too.
Hold on a second. Is Adam at it again?
Yeah, but I do appreciate it.
Adam's at it again? Did he put Storm the Barn on it?
I think it did. Yeah, he did.
Okay, I remind everybody, he's on a yellow card already from yesterday. My friend Gio took my bag from me as a joke. I don't like it, so I told him, "Give me my bag, Gio." I'm so sorry. Adam,
I like it.
Already on a yellow.
I think that yellow was bullshit. No VAR.
Second yellow. You're out, bud. You're out. Go take a breather. We'll see you at the match day for the weekend. My God. No, it's all good. But yeah, you're the first one to ever receive a double yellow on the AJC. So you broke a record there, buddy. There you go. Calvin says that's a straight red. Oh, man. No, we appreciate it, though. That's good times. Adam's a beauty. All right. Let's rock. Juve rejected a 70 million offer for Alexandro from Chelsea in 2017. He declined shortly thereafter. Man City 60 million offer for Cambiaso also declined since then. Mistake not selling Cambiaso. Do you believe it's a mistake? We should have taken it in the winter mercado.
Well, it's easy to sit here now and say yeah or even no. I have no idea. It might be, if it picks up next season, let's say stays here, then it's all water under the bridge and it doesn't really matter anymore. But the thing with should we have bought or sold is in hindsight always. Yeah. I mean, Koopmeiners seemed like a great signing, but in hindsight, it obviously wasn't. I don't know. Time will tell. Sandro was obviously a mistake not selling at the time. Cambiaso might turn out to be just the same. But I haven't lost faith in him. And back then, Sandro was a great player, and 70 million even seemed a bit low. And so, I don't know. I won't say that it's a mistake just yet.
Hindsight's always just a bitch, but in the winter, we're too skinny. We just felt way too thin.
That's exactly too thin. It. We've got no one.
Yeah, and position. You just weren't sure of a lot. Like, we weren't super confident in the play. It was kind of all over the place, but you were in striking range still at that point. So it's like, man, is it the best call right now? Are they not going to come in the summer? I would have never guessed for him to completely fall off the face of the earth in terms of his play. So I'm not going to say mistake. I'm not going to say mistake at this point. The part that pissed me off at that point was how damn quick he was to reach an agreement with City, when it was like you couldn't even have stated like, hey man, we'll talk in the summer, or we'll see what's going on. You literally went from Juve is my Real Madrid to I've got an agreement at the first phone call. That's the part that pissed me off. And maybe Mitch is right. You know, and maybe Mitch is, and yeah, it could have been because of Mota too the entire time, and that's why the team kind of acted that way. But maybe Mitch is right, because Mitch has always said, and he's got a comment in here that said, anytime if someone wants to go, show him the door. For 60 million, Mitch said, any day of the week. So to each their own. It's a difficult one. Hindsight's always tough, but maybe that stings us. We'll see. Tuna, again, it's unnerving to see the only player with fight and desire to attack yesterday being Kalulu, a defender who is technically still an AC Milan player. What was the logic having him play so advanced? Well, you've got a team that's clamped down, that's all low, so you have to send bodies. So Thuram and Locatelli were up there helping support too. You've got two of your center backs remaining behind them, and yeah, it's bodies. You're not gonna hurt a wall like that. What we were doing before was terrible. You would see one striker alone under Mota, your wingers glued to the flanks, and that was it. You're never going to hurt them with one or two players in the box, right? So the idea is send numbers and get them advanced. That's half the battle. The other half is movement, drawing defenders out, pulling them, moving them. Like, you need to make them work and get them. You need to create space, and it's difficult when they're that low and pinned because there's very little space to create, but you got to find a way to hurt them. And this is the problem with a team that is allergic to shoot from range. You can't draw them out. You can't keep them honest. If nobody on your team is willing to take those shots that they're giving to you, you'll never have a hope of moving them. You have to have somebody that can threaten there. And if these guys aren't willing to even attempt it, you have no hopes in hell in moving that defensive line, that wall. And that's a major issue at Juve. I don't know why these guys...
That's exactly what they wanted. Exactly what Parma wanted.
Yeah.
They managed us. They let us control. They got their goal. That was their plan. Get a goal, clamp down. Maybe we'll get even another one on a counterattack. That was their plan, and it worked out perfectly. We just fell into that trap so easily.
Yeah. This is not something that just came up overnight. This has nothing to do with Tudor. It's like, this has been years now. Why are these guys afraid to fire from just outside the area?
It's this XG bullshit that managers are being swamped with, or it's not a good enough chance, and the percentages of scoring are higher when you're in the area. But it doesn't really matter. Remember the Colomwani chance. He had one chance where he skimmed past everyone, got into the area on his right foot. A top-class striker would have blasted it to the far corner, high-low, doesn't matter. The goalkeeper won't get there. No, another touch, closer to the keeper, then trying to pass it back to Dusan, who obviously has no idea where to stand for crosses. And that's another chance gone. Another one. Every chance
they got to settle it. So simplify. Shoot the damn ball. You send a couple that come close from that range, guess what happens? That team starts to think, they start to move up a little more because they're like, oh, last time, you almost curled that one in or almost hit it. It's like, and for the other guys, get ugly, get in there, follow the shot in, because if a keeper has a rebound, whatever, take the ugly goals, like create havoc we make it too easy. Too easy for these other teams. While we want to talk about our roster, which I agree is incomplete, it's still getting outplayed by lesser teams. When we drop points this year, more often than not, it is lesser teams. So even that argument, to some degree, doesn't really hold a lot of weight. You know what I mean? It's the way it is. It's the way it is. So,
Mark, another shout out for the wordplay. I like it. But later, that's a later STP.
if we can't upbeat Suzuki, how do we expect that Cheap will be our sponsor? Oh, man. Mark.
I'm going to start an all pancast. Me, Adam, and Mark. Oh,
yes or no?
You're too harsh.
Yes or no? Okay. Trigger happy after yesterday's game on the cards. Mark, you're good. Yeah. You're good. Nicely played. Will you play Imbangula if healthy over Yildiz? Seems like Yildiz is too inconsistent. I talk about this all the time when it comes to Chico, and I've applied it to Yildiz. And I've applied it to several guys that play in that fashion. They're just relied upon too heavily. It's not an individual thing. It's the team failing as a group in the attack. But Yildiz, I still play. Against Monza, absolutely. Yildiz should be starting out the rest of the way. For me.
Yeah, I agree. When it does start, I mean, I do have some sort of an issue with his sub appearances. I don't think they're nearly as good. But when he does start, I mean, he's the creative engine. Basically, he's the one who actually manages to beat his guy again and again and keeps the defense guessing because they don't know if it goes right or left. He has a decent shot on him. He can cross. Yesterday, he wasn't good in both of those. But still, I like him as a starter. I think he should start. I didn't see a whole lot from the other wingers that would justify starting them over him.
Yeah. Man, Monza this weekend. Absolutely got to take care of business. Can you explain why we had 5 different corner kick takers on the first 5 corners? What's the sense? Throwing shit at a wall and trying to see what sticks, basically. I have no clue. No clue. Just
that's it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Maybe Dusan should cross them. You know what?
I mean, if he's going to be so lost on them and have no idea where they're going to go. 37 crosses, only 6 connected. Wow. Yeah, we've known that the crossing, set piece, all this, it's just been disastrous. Crossing quality all year from all these guys.
But yesterday it was kicked into overdrive. I've never seen a match with 37, was it? More than 30 crosses, and each one of them was awful. Each one. Not one cross was a decent one. All of them were mostly far post, no actual target, just hoping someone will stand there. And Tudor doesn't see it and say anything. The players doesn't read it. I mean, after the 45th minute, you saw that all the crosses are going to far post. Fine. Then why is only Cambiasso standing there? Why aren't 3 other players running to that direction?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a mess. It's an absolute mess. I'm looking at players and I have no idea what anyone's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you don't need a coach for that.
Giratina saying, did you think the roster was Scudetto worthy? I really did think it could be, and Mota plus injuries and poor chemistry bungled it. Did you think the roster, did you think this team, like, at the start, could have been Scudetto contender?
Yeah.
I did.
Absolutely. But I was looking at a team that had Bremer and Danilo as center backs and Cambiasso as right back, with Cabal, with Coop Miners, who's been the best midfielder in the league before that. I was looking at a completely different team. I told you in the chat not long ago, no
Yeah.
one would have guessed Juve's back line would be Kelly, Kalulu, and Vega.
Yeah.
No, I'm
I
shocked. This is our back line in 2025.
At the start, I thought this is a roster. Absolutely. I was like, this should be a top 2 roster in this Serie A. And to be fair, look at this Serie A. Everyone's unconvincing. Every single team in there is unconvincing. I mean, Bologna's in good form now, etc., but it could easily change, drop off. Atalanta has dropped a bit. Lazio dropped. Fiorentina was red hot at the start, had a big drop there. They were talking about firing Palladino. Like, it's all over the map. And that's the part that bugs me the most about this season is that Serie A was literally wide ass open this season, okay? But Scudetto worthy, sure. But a lot of situations went awry. Like I saw a team that committed to this coach and gave him a lot. The profiles made sense for how he wanted to play. The only question mark was up top with Dusan Vlahovic. Because everybody said he's not that style of guy like you had before. Is it going to work? But in the end, that wasn't the ending for Juve. That wasn't the wrongdoing. It was just so much more. And Luis, guy hasn't been injured since 2021. Can't stay fit for us whatsoever. Cope Miners, shades of himself. Like, yeah, at the start, I don't know. I still stand firm that I like the moves they made. I may not have agreed with all the prices, but I like the moves. The moves all made sense. We'll see. That's the way life goes sometimes. You can have a plan, but then you get punched in the mouth. Things change. Would you take Kevin De Bruyne on a free next season?
On paper, yes. But to be realistic, he'll probably spend most of his time next to Milik. So no. I mean,
the devil's in the details for me, everybody. So
yeah, he probably wants a huge salary. Someone he'd probably go to Saudi Arabia, or someone who would pay his huge salary at his age. But I probably would have taken him, but I'm guessing he'll spend most of his time injured.
Yeah, the thing with De Bruyne though is like, remember what I was saying earlier is like, you need a guy that could pull the strings, that can actually pull the strings, an experienced player, a winner. He fits the bill. Is it the right timing for him? Probably not, but could you still maybe get something decent out of him? And yeah, I think you still could. It could help with the guys that you have still around at Juve. You know, even if you get him, even if you have to apply a load management type situation to him, it still could overall be beneficial for the group. I wouldn't write it off as a complete no.
No, it's not a complete no. I'm just hope if he comes in and he stays healthy, he's better than everyone on this team. It's not even comparable. But I do agree with Calvin Jones here. Thomas Muller. I would go for Thomas Muller. Easily. Easily. Would you?
I don't know about Muller.
I would take
Admin would love it because he's absolutely great. And he's a funny guy. Good personality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Muller, but
he's also the kind of guy who makes goals out of everything. He's the type of guy who just stands in the area and knows where to stand and creates goals. Scores a billion of them. He has the experience. I would take him.
Swalit says, in March, I read that if Inter were to win the Champions League, then Italy might get a 5th Champions League spot. Is there any truth to it? I think it's over. They can't recover.
It's over because of, who was it, Lazio, who lost to Bilbao?
Yeah, it's already...
In order for that to work, Lazio had to win against Bilbao and move to the next
it's already
stage.
decided. It's over. It's going to be 4 spots. And to be honest, the only good thing that came out of yesterday was Inter losing and this treble talk ending. That's the only positive out of yesterday. So
look, they still might finish with no titles this season, which would make me even happier than making top 4.
Rather than Anchko, why don't we get Ismaili on a free? Perfect rotational center back and get that Leone kid for the future. He was an absolute beast yesterday. Henschko would be expensive rotational center back. I'm also at the point, I don't know how to rate these guys when they play us, because we seem to make guys look like the second coming of Chiellini, for God's sake. So I don't really know. But
So yeah, I'll correct myself. Giratina, it wasn't Lazio who played. Was it Fiorentina who played against Bilbao? We're basically competing for points against a team from Spain, and that Bilbao match was crucial. Was it Fiorentina? I don't remember. Didn't follow those teams as closely as I wanted.
yeah, one of those sides had to get the job done anyways, so yeah, it's redundant. Yeah, so back to the question, would you take Ishmaeli on a free?
Man,
Is
no,
he free?
I,
He's on a free?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's on a free.
Wait, so who was it who lost to Bilbao?
And rather than
Was it
Henschko,
Fiorentina?
right now for me, I'm good with Vega. I would do everything to try and keep Vega around. I really like him. And then I would work down from there. Right now, Vega, then I'd go to Henschko. And I'd look at that route. For the youngsters, yeah, I mean, but that's like our main thing needs to be the 1A players right now. I know everybody's hot for young Italian players to get them in here and get going. I get it. But 1A right now, get the right 1A guys, and go from there. If you find me a 1A Italian option that's available, that the details all work out with, okay, let's talk. Are there any center backs, Italian 1A ready right now that are available at decent terms? People will throw Scalvini in there while still arguing that we should never touch another Atalanta player, and that's my whole thing. So it's like everybody goes in this route with this whole Italian thing. Comuzzo, is he in the 1A discussion? Would he be coming in as and going slotting right next to Bremer?
Maybe. To be honest, I'd stop looking at the young guys. I think we have enough of them. I will start looking for the older guys. I have no issue with older center backs. Absolutely no issue. And it was Roma, the chat. It was Roma who lost to Bilbao, and that's why we can't get the 5th spot anymore.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens here. I need more targets, though, in the back line, and I'm kind of with you. 1A and some experience would go a long way, so we'll see how they do it. If you had, where was it here, who would be the most significant plausible signing we could make this summer that would help the team get back to winning?
So it's like sort of a Pirlo signing, I'm guessing. Someone that will turn everything around. I don't know. I have to think about it.
See, for me, the answer to that is difficult because if I spoke positionally, it's in the attack. It's a striker. That if you correct that with the right guy, the right profile that's going to match, but what are we trying to match up to? Who are we trying to match up to? Are we trying to match up for Conte? Are we trying to match up for Tudor? Mind you, it's going to be very similar. And then who's the guy? Because if you look at those targets, they all carry question marks around them. Every single one of them. So it becomes very difficult. But I say it's got to be a striker. Got to be a striker, and it's got to be the right guy, and he's got to come in, and that's tough. That's tough. Like, and this is why we get back to my, I guess, kind of hot take yesterday, where I don't think we should overextend for Tonali. I don't think he does it.
But no, it doesn't seem like we would do that anyway. Definitely not with our Champions League.
Anguissa on a free transfer, I would actually be all over Anguissa on a free transfer.
I would, but De Laurentiis would renew him just so Juve won't sign him. Give him whatever he wants, just don't sign for Juve.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. That post-Pipita Higuain thing still lingers.
Haunts him.
Sudakov, we talked about some headlines, everybody. Osimhen, is Osimhen that guy? Would Osimhen be that guy?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't followed him closely this season at Galatasaray, but I don't know. Maybe again, it's not the way he plays that I have an issue with. It's the back the what's it called?
It's a
Damn it,
lot of the behind the
brain fart.
scenes nonsense.
Yeah, the behind the scenes nonsense that kind of moved me away from him and buying from Napoli and giving them all this money. If we're going to spend like 70 million on one player, I really don't want it to be someone from Serie A. I really don't. So is Osimhen the guy? I don't know. Probably, maybe. Osimhen will be awesome if everything goes well. If we're having another season of third, fourth place and things aren't going away, he's not the guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Osimhen for me, I've always said it. Like, I'm kind of bothered by a lot of the stuff around the player. He's probably the top target out of the guys we're actually linked with. He's the top guy, but I don't know. I'm not getting those vibes from him. Was it a lightning in the bottle type situation for Napoli too with the guy? Like, I mean, yeah, he's scoring over where he's at now. I don't have the exact numbers or stats or anything, but like, I don't know.
But if you get Conte, you don't get Osimhen. No way.
And that's the thing. So there are rumors creeping up claiming that Conte doesn't change anything with Osimhen, but I'm like, he literally, you think he would have signed for Napoli and let that guy go when they had him if he wanted him? So I'm not buying into that one at all. I don't think it's one or the other. So, and I don't think Osimhen's ever been an actual legit. Like, I know everyone's pumping it out there that Osimhen is the guy and Juve's going at him. I never thought it's highly probable. This Sudakov kid. So, talked about him. Apparently, Juve is going to make an approach. He's been pulled up before in rumors with Juve. Not last summer, but the one prior. 2 summers ago, when he was like 20 years old, he was actually linked to Juventus. So, obviously, 22-year-old Ukrainian playing for Shakhtar Donetsk. And he's got, 23 appearances in league, 11 goals, 4 assists in like 1,900 minutes. Champions League, 8 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. In all appearances across all competitions, 33 appearances, 14 goals, 5 assists. He's an attacking midfielder. And, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting with him. He's got healthy amount of interest from top European clubs. But it's funny. When we were linked to him, he, for whatever reason, had reservations and spoke openly about reservations in playing in a 3-5-2 setup, which to me makes no sense as an attacking mid-profile, because 3-5-2 is the go-to in that scenario. So it was very, very odd. But yeah, anyways, he did bring that up. He's got a contract with Shakhtar that runs until 2028. So yeah, they're pushing for 40 to 50 million euros apparently. No chance from me on that number, man. No chance.
No, not for those numbers. Like, I think 25 is my max.
Like, we're talking about 22-year-old, good numbers in that league there with Shakhtar, but it's like 40 to 50 million euros is a healthy splash. We were doing that on guys proven on several years running, and it backfired on us this year. So now to do it on a youngster is kind of crazy to me. But got guys in the chat saying, yeah, fire away on Sudakov. I don't think so. Not at that price tag. No way. If you had a private meeting with Juntoli and Elken for your views and suggestions for season 2026. What are the 3 main points you would raise? You need to be hard and critical. Number 1, I'd play the song by Pantera, 5 Minutes Alone, and I'd slap the shit out of both of them. Okay? I would tell Elkan, number 1 thing we need to do in 2026 is you could say bye-bye or get ready to actually commit money like you give a shit and not wait for it to hit boiling point. For Giuntoli, you're on thin ice, man. One more coach, like, this is kind of it. The big red flag for Giuntoli, for me, was how much leash for Motta. And needing it to go to that degree. And Elkan's a part of that too, as is Scanavino, as is Ferraro. They're all a part of that. Way too much leash there. Should have never gotten to that point. The intervention came, great, but they can't act like that's the be-all, end-all. They let it get to that point. So they all have blood on their hands. Giuntoli's on thin ice. For 2026,
J-Medical.
new management
J-Medical is the first thing I bring in. The first point I raise would fix J-Medical. We can't have this bullshit happen every season. It literally ruins our seasons.
New management team, rediscover, redefine the culture at Juventus, what it means, and start signing characters. Okay, get the money right. Elkan, get the money right. We're practically there. I need the right guys. I need the right men being brought in now. This young team, whatever, we're going to be happy just to keep the numbers where they are. We're just going to have minimum ambition and just want to reach top 4 so we keep that revenue stream coming and we don't really care to actually get after anything. No. That whole plan with the experienced players and this whole thing on, any player at 29 years old or 30 years old is going to be at this salary range. That's it. No, you're going to have to break the rules sometimes if the right guy comes along, because that is not how you build a team, by completely alienating a certain criteria of a player, because you need some of those guys. So, yeah, they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
What's your verdict on Giuntoli? He's done the financial job. Again, I just said he's kind of on thin ice for me too. A lot of what he's done was because of what the guys over and above him have wanted financially. So it's also difficult.
But he also let Motta have whatever he wants. He
exactly.
Kind of put
they all did.
Awful situation.
That's why I put them all together in one group. They kind of did this all together. So he's on thin ice. But with Giuntoli, this guy still had a team with lower resources battling with a juggernaut of a Juventus side during the decade of dominance with those resources. And I'm not ready to just ship him off just yet. And this year, I do think Giuntoli's smart enough to figure out what went sideways, what went wrong. But with the right management, with the right guys that are actually there, these guys are all absent, okay? And even when they're there, they're sleeping. So with the right management team above him, with the right vision, I actually think he could be phenomenal.
Because he does get the players he wants. He finds a way to get the players he wants. It's just everything above him, they kind of left him out to dry and do all of that by his own. And Marotta always had someone helping him, a right-hand man, and he was with the management the entire time. Nedved gave his opinions about signing this guy and that guy. They should work together. They kind of brought him in and said, you deal with everything. We'll keep sleeping in the stadium while you deal with everything. Just don't go out of the budget.
And you hit something and you touched on it, Omer, and that is that they kind of left him high and dry. And this has been something that has happened since Agnelli's been gone. Max was left high and dry. Everybody is going to continue to be left high and dry because these guys are absent. We have absent management. It starts there, everybody. and it trickles down. There's nobody toeing the line. Got to figure that out. Absolutely have to figure that out. Are you getting unsure about Giuntoli? Well, a lot of talk about Giuntoli. We've been unsure. Like, he's got blood on his hands, basically. But I would continue. But I want to see the right management team ahead of him. So I'm still okay with him staying. Okay?
Yeah. The thing with him, too, is if we had 1-2 more matches and we're now sitting comfortably in third or fourth, are we having the same discussion? Okay, this isn't go as planned, but we're still, where we sort of aiming to be. And it's just 2 wins away, 2 non-dropped draws. I mean, if it was that awful as some portray to be, it would be far worse in the league.
Yeah.
When you're 6 points away from the safe zone, it's not all that bad. There are issues. Obviously, there are things that needs to be fixed, but we also need to give guys, both players, management, whoever, to do to make some mistakes and learn from them and improve. They will sit at the end of the season and reflect, and he'll say what he thought was wrong, and they'll say what he did wrong. But we can't crucify everyone after one mistake. It's a trend now with players, with everyone.
Yeah. Who is the biggest mutt in this current Juve? Might be a player, coach, or upper management. Let's machine gun some of these, storm the bar. Who's the biggest mutt right now, if we're going to have to say it?
I think that Panda Bear sleeping at the stadium was just...
That was disgusting. He's a mutt.
That was absolutely awful. I think that number 1 for me.
Yeah, I think his little partner there too. Scannavino and Ferrara combination. They've been temps since day 1. Those are the biggest mutts. Elkan's not far behind. I'm going to go that way.
And what's his name? And Calvo too, for all this sponsor shenanigans.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yes. Calvo.
And
as well.
Vlahovic is a good shout as well.
This isn't 25, 30 years ago. Foreigners do not see Serie A squads with the same passion like the players of years ago. Aside from Thuram, they have zero passion for Juve. I don't think that's actually true. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this with all due respect, because this guy's jacked. What a unit! Look at this guy, this Cugino Eddie here in this photo, man. Jesus.
Can you play center back?
Yeah, get in the team, man. Come on. No, I think that in all honesty, this is what ties into this management thing. You get the right people and the desire to join comes as well. There's a lot of gaps around Juve you can swap, but like Chiellini joining up, getting a better role, being involved will help. And it will help attract players too. We heard guys that wanted to play with Chiellini that got offers and were like, yeah, no, that was definitely in the mix. And some that came. De Ligt was one of them. Wanted to play with Bonucci and Chiellini and learn from these guys. Him up there would help. If you brought in a guy like Del Piero, instant magnetism to guys. Globally known.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get it right.
Yeah.
Having these guys involved never hurts.
Yeah, I agree with half of it. I do believe that players born in Italy, raised on those rivalries, coming from certain areas, I think it does play a part, because that's sort of something you dream of since you were a kid, of playing for this club and that club, and it gives you a bit of extra edge and appreciation of the road you took to make it there. But first of all, it's not only a Juve issue, it's a Europe issue. It happens to a lot of teams with a lot of foreign players. Second, I don't think you can just generalize and say, yeah, all foreigners just don't care as much. It's a personal things. There are people just like doing things a certain way, or don't complain, or always criticize themselves and looking to improve. And there are guys who are happy for the money they're making. and just fuck it, I'll go to another team, make some more money. If we don't make it, I'll go to another team.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's Juve foreign thing. It's just the generation of today just works like that.
Yeah. What are the chances of Conte, if not him or Tudor, anyone else in the mix? As of right now, the highest are Conte, Tudor, Gasperini. That's it. And I personally don't believe Gasperini is coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rest is just rumor and nonsense. It's not really any link.
And I told you guys a month ago what I heard, that it was done already for Conte. Was it coincidence that, a week ago, after I said that, 3.5 weeks ago, is it coincidence that a week ago he fires around all these statements, gets De Laurentiis all fired up, and I believe it's Conte. Is Milik still under? Oh my God, yes, and it will be terminated. But that's just a ridiculous situation. Same exact spot with Pogba. It was the same thing. It was a knee injury. You avoided surgery only to end up needing surgery, to getting surgery, to becoming an absolute shit show. The only thing that's missing is a doping scandal.
To be honest, I think it's kind of a Ramsey case with Milik.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been injured for this long. From what was it? He got a knock to the foot, 2-3 weeks recovery time. I think it's more similar to Ramsey right now.
Yeah. Is this red, yellow card a new segment by Alberto? We'll dish out the cards if we feel need be. Yeah.
It might be. Give us throw some ideas our way of what to do with the cards, a new segment, and we'll consider it and maybe add a new one.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes the Army, we love them, but sometimes they got to be kept in check too, and sometimes we got to, you know who needed one of these yesterday? Our friend Luca, for one of his answers. Remember that? We should have dished him a yellow. He should have got a yellow. Maybe straight red. It was questionable.
Maybe we can challenge ourselves. Let's say you can't mention Allegri this episode.
Oh, okay.
And if you do, you get the yellow card, and red card, you gotta, I don't know, send some stuff to one of the listeners.
Yeah, so the listeners can get some prizes from it. Okay, we'll make some games out of it. We'll have some fun with it. Yellows and red cards being dished out, with a lot of our youth players leaving and going to other teams and blossoming. Do you feel we should spend more time on integration of youth into the team versus transfer window spending? It's a great question. I'm pissed at some of the departures that we even made. So I still stand firm on how next gen is handled and how the young guys are handled. They have been something that has come up higher due to the situation we're in. But for Juve to be the Juve we want to see, I believe only the elite should be integrated. Only the elite should be integrated. And outside of that, that's where you get your money. That's where you get your capital. That's how you protect players you want on your team. And I think we lack the balance. We don't have the opposite. We're good when it comes to youth. We don't have the opposite. We need the experienced and winners, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it looks interesting and cool on paper, but when it doesn't work out in November, then we will say that we should have bought everyone. It usually doesn't work. They should get more minutes. There are players that I would have kept on this team instead of signing others, but I wouldn't base my entire project around them and trying to get, I don't know, a Sule till he starts firing and being a sort of a Dybala to this team or whatever. Yeah, we just don't have the luxury of taking that gamble right now.
Yeah. What do we got? We're going to machine gun some. Colo looked positive, but Cambiaso could have passed him. Who does Cambiaso think he is to play this on the left? We've got Dusan had the biggest chance to score on the corners. Kolo Muani would score. Tudor has to stop these player bias and put the best 11 in. Do we feel like he's got some player bias? There were some thoughts going into that game. I don't know.
What's
I
our
think
best 11?
I've always said he's in a tough spot because Kolo Muani's future may not be here with us. Chico may not be here with us. Vlahovic is going to get shopped in the summer. That's tough for Tudor. So that's a very, very difficult spot to be in. And meanwhile, you got Milik, who's living at J Medical. It's a tough spot to be in. It's a tough, tough spot to be in.
What was the question again? Sorry,
it wasn't really a question. It was just a statement. But he said Tudor has to stop this player bias and put together the best 11.
Oh, look, if we ask who's the best 11, I'm sure we'll get like 20 different answers. I don't know what's our best 11. I have our
It
best
changes
11
by the
opinion.
week. Changes by the week.
Yeah, it changes every week. I have no idea what's our
Forza
best
Juve.
11.
Cross-stitch back so he can get some successful crosses. Forza Juve. Here you go. Yellow.
Your
That's
first
a yellow.
warning.
That's a yellow.
Yeah.
Do you think in the summer mercado we need to buy older experienced players? Yes. At least a couple. But again, the details have to be there. The details have to be there. So I'm not going to say yeah, no matter what, but we should be entertaining balancing out this roster. Could really use some experienced cool heads. To be honest, even in terms of Serie A, like it's weird. I think in general, the free signings, we're missing the boat on some. I was adamant about going after Marcus Thuram on his free. We didn't approach it whatsoever. I failed to believe he would not have been attracted to Juventus, and that Lillian wouldn't have been like, yes. The thought of Kefren and Marcus at Juve would have been spectacular. You've got Zielinski should have been a free. I was like, why don't we take Zielinski instead of spending? I would have been okay with Zielinski. Anguissa's another one now coming up I'd be okay with.
Because Marotta is ahead of you, like 6 months ahead of you. When you notice those deals and those reports that this and that player is not going to renew, there are general managers who are already on that. We're always reacting a bit too late to those guys.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, you've got to be looking at those. You got to be looking at those guys. Even the league experience with Zielinski goes a long way. It doesn't necessarily have to be like flat out winning experience, but just experience and a lot of it in the league. And he got
also
better.
Is not having a great season. He's not having
but
a great
he's barely
season
playing
he's
too.
Injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's injured a lot.
Got hurt, barely playing, but still played more than Luis.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Do you think Chico should not be redeemed? He has to be returned to Porto. The kid is overrated and has a low IQ. Bring in Orsolini. So I loved Orsolini. I was actually making shouts for Orsolini last season. But I think Chico's, it's too, I don't know. He could be overhyped for sure. But I still think at 30 million, what are our options? I'm not fond of Zagrova on this injury season, riddled season at the same money. I'm really not. Or 5 million less, 25. I don't know. Omer, do you want to not redeem Chico? You're muted.
Right. We kind of discussed it in length yesterday. Chico, should we redeem, should we not redeem? To be honest, I'm fine either way. Sign him, don't sign him, just do something meaningful with that money. If you're not signing him, have a plan of who you are going to sign or what you're going to do with that money or fix that hole or whatever. Yeah. I wouldn't sign him. If Conte is the manager, I wouldn't sign him. But if you do decide to invest in him, then invest in him, like like it should be. And but I'm fine either way. I don't think he's the like be all end all. We're missing out on someone who's actually going. I mean, look, we did sort of missed out on Orsolini, and now we want him. But we've started talking about in the past 2 seasons. He was a Juve player. What? Let me check. Orsolini.
I'm not.
He was,
I'm fine either way too. But again, I want to see what's on the flip side. I need to see what's on the flip side. It's always going to come down to the details. The 30 million and keep it Chico, I'm absolutely fine with, and I don't think he's completely overrated or whatnot. And to be honest, I think yesterday showed that he's one of the few that is willing to take those shots, that is willing to attempt them, that is going at it. He's not backing down. Whereas a lot of guys, there's moments to drive the ball, to get after it, attack. Maybe you draw a foul, maybe you draw PK, and these other guys shy away time and time again. I will always lean more towards the guys that have the courage to at least do it. Because if you want to shit on them for not getting it right, at least they're putting themselves in the position to not get it right. I go harder on the guys that don't even attempt things that they should be in those positions. Guys that seem like they don't want the ball. I carry a certain level of respect for the players that say, give me that ball. I want to be that guy. I want to at least try to be that guy. Tudor said his mentality is right. I believe him, and I think you could see it. Yesterday was a prime example. There was guys that didn't want the ball, didn't want the moment, would rather look to dish, even if the play was staring them dead in the face. Those are the guys I have issues with.
So I have to storm the barns. We said we will discuss the front line like later. What we saw yesterday was probably the worst combination I could think of for the front line. So what would you like to see? What do you think right now is the best way to go with the front three?
Funny enough, I wanted to see that three. I wanted to see Dusan and Kolo together, but it was a disaster. Complete lack of chemistry. Kolo Muani up top, Yildiz and Conceição.
I think so too, I thought the exact same thing now.
If Nico plays, Nico should be played on the outside. I don't like him in that advanced role. Too much falls apart at his feet.
And the second question is, I noticed a lot of people have issues with Alicia Lehmann standing in the front of that video after the J Women won the title. And honestly, I don't know why. Did you find that irritating?
So they have a problem with her because she's barely played. She's got a couple goals or something, and then she's like at the forefront of media, always being pushed by Juve admin, etc. Obviously taking advantage of her following and stuff. But I actually think that moment was like a dance that like she does, and it's like something, and she like did it with the team, etc. I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. The uproar.
Like I don't even care. It's like, what are people? What? Who cares? Like, I didn't care. I was stoked that the women won. Their 6th Scudetto since starting up in 2017, 2018. But other than that, I really don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same. I just didn't get it.
Do you guys think Igor Tudor? I mean, my suggestion would be to just hit mute. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think Igor Tudor will stay next season or not?
Not right now. If Conte is the other option, it's not even a question. But I would like him to stay. I would be very happy if you become part of Conte's team. But there's no chance of it happening.
Gio's saying no. Tuna says it changes by the day. Galvin saying no.
It's kind of right. It does.
I don't believe he will. For me personally, we talked about this yesterday, Omer, on the preview. I said, Sentimentally, it's all there, but I'm not going to make my decision or change my mind on what I believe we need to do because of the emotional aspect. And for me, if an elite tier coach is there, that is the route Juve should take. No
And I
disrespect
think
to Tudor, and Tudor's done a
no.
fine job, and he's said all the right things, and he does feel like he's got his finger on the pulse of where this team is currently at. However, in the same aspect, I was shitting on players on the pitch for not taking the higher percentage. I would be shitting on Juve for not taking the higher percentage of helping this group and helping the team advance. And it would be the third time coming that we said no to him. And I'm not ready for that type of banter. If he takes another club and they pass us just like the last two.
Yeah, and to be honest, well, maybe it's kind of wrong what I'm going to say because Allegro was here, but I think everything that's going on at Juve right now, the players' characteristics, the management, and whatever, I think it's a bit too much for young coaches. Like you need some sort of experience in different situations to be able to handle everything that's going on. Like a Ranieri would have been great. I think Mota, Pirlo, and Tudor kind of show that it's not a
You're
job for a young up and coming manager.
you're right on where I was kind of at in this whole thing, because I said after Mota, I go, I'm done with the experiments. And, I do believe that Tudor is an experimental option out of everyone that's listed. We need experience on the roster. I think you need an experienced coach. You absolutely
Mhm.
need an experienced coach too. So,
And
do
I
I think
would
he's
take
going to stay?
Ancelotti in
I
a
do
heartbeat.
not believe Tudor is going to be the coach of Juventus next season. I don't. How
Mhm.
possible you guys think it is that we sign Nuno Tavares or De Kuiper without shipping Cambiasso? So I said, depending on the
Yeah.
moves you want, even if one of those guys was one of Osimhen or one of Tonali, like you can do it in other ways, and you're going to probably say some goodbyes, but it's going to come down to what the selling price is. Guys like Savona that are full capital, guys like Imbangula, maybe you ship Gatti out. It's what are the other sacrifices, right? Right now, I'm going to be quite honest. I'm becoming so pissed off with Cambiasso. The more I think about it, the more I talk about it, that I might be open to just flat out selling him and building with that whatever we can get. But now his value's getting shot too because he's playing like absolute trash. So, yeah, I don't know, but the possibility of signing those guys is there. Is that the
I,
play?
I well, Tavares is an interesting one because I think Lazio are going to sign him for like a small fee. He's sort of on a loan there, maybe with obligation. So if you want to buy him, it's from Lazio and it will take a lot of money. Without selling Cambiasso, there's no way it happens. The
Yeah.
Kuiper, I don't know what's his market value or whatever, so I can't really answer that.
Early feelings about the Monza match. Start praying. I don't know. Get the job done. Like I just here's the thing.
I don't know. Mhm.
I see. I don't know because just why so flat? Why so flat against Parma? Facing them, 8 players injured. Like yes, you're away from home, but my God, you had so much ball control in that game too, and you just can't turn the screws to them. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I can't even say that it's like if you wanted to set the tone by, let's say, benching certain guys and going with a certain starting 11 to set the tone or whatnot, you'd have to bench the entire 11 that played.
Yeah.
So you can't send a message with your starting lineup. It's got to be there. So
Having said that, having said that, we did say Parma is a tricky one, especially away from home. Mons are by far the worst team in the league. Like what they have, like 2 wins this season. And it should be a cakewalk. Should be. But we said in the beginning.
I hate
Well,
that word this year. Should.
yeah.
Should.
Yeah, so yeah, I really don't get it. I don't feel like confident as I should be playing against the last team in the league, and that says a lot.
Anytime we say should, it's a yellow. Okay, we
Oh,
should
right on the
beat
first one?
Monza.
Damn.
The early feeling is, man, if this is where I'm so like fed up, because if you haven't got the message, if you don't know where it's at now, you're just not cut to wear the cloth. Like, seriously, like if the same shit has to continuously be regurgitated to you about where you're at, what we need to achieve, what has to be achieved, like even if your future isn't there, the message needs to be that you are a professional. If you are a legit footballer, it doesn't matter about the story, the situation, whatnot. You aren't just representing us. You are still, in fact, representing yourself. Don't forget that. Because maybe that's the message that needs to go to these guys. These guys that give a shit so much about social media and all this shit. It's like, you're still representing yourself. Like, these guys should have had the riot act read to them, though, the second Motta was sacked. Because it's like, hey, guys, two of you took the time to say goodbye to that guy. That's cool. But guess what? Your names are on the line, too, and you're all associated with this guy getting fired. The results? You're the ones out there getting it, too. Or not getting them, I should say. So
Yeah,
the message needs to be strong. It needs to be direct. And for the love of God, man, all the training leading up to that needs to be focused around the shortcomings. I don't give a shit anymore about double sessions for fitness, etc., whatnot. Like, Monza is going to employ the exact same blueprint. Break them down. Have a plan. Execute.
It didn't even seem like physicality was our problem in the last matches. The guys were pushing, were tracking back. You didn't seem tired. That's not where the problem is. But we're almost going on for 2 hours, and I have to get going. Still have the rest of the day ahead of me. So if you're continuing with the Storm the Barn, I have to jump out.
We are shutting it down. There are a couple others here that we'll probably carry into the weekend as they are good. So I will jot them down and we'll carry it in. We got to wrap things up there. Hey, top four, it's complicated. Yesterday, it was a disaster. We all know it. There's nothing else that's need to be said. This was the quickest game recap we've ever done, probably. And that's saying a lot over the course of the past couple of years. But here we are. It's time to, time for this team to sort it out, get it right. Tudor, lads, Monza, 3 points and nothing else. Top four is a must. Right now, nothing else matters. So let's see what they bring for us on the weekend. And then you get to the tricky kickoff to May, Bologna and Lazio back-to-backs. But my God, a lot of work to be done. Tudor has done a great job so far. I stand firm on that. However, there's a little more to go. I hope he can sort that out because Monza's going to do the exact same we just saw. Will the lads be ready? Will we get victory? We'll follow along all together. Army, you guys are the best. Second to none. We love you. Drop a like on your way out. Omer, always an absolute pleasure, brother. And no matter what, everybody, fino alla fine, Forza Juventus. Top four is not dead in the water. It's just complicated. But we could deal with complicated. Let's go. Wake up, Juve. Come on.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.